Well, that's weird. There was no music playing. We were just up in the caves, exploring around. I've been doing some research, so that way I can do a speedrun of the game. But we still have this quest to complete. The quest of the book. It looks like 1 or 2 more sessions and we'll be finished. But I'm in no rush. If it takes longer, that's fine as well. Chapter 73. The Higher Man. When I came unto men for the first time, then did I commit the anchorite folly, the great folly. I appeared on the marketplace. When I spake unto all, I spake unto none. In the evening, however, rope dancers were my companions, and corpses. And I myself almost became a corpse. Almost a corpse. With the new morning, however, there came unto me a new truth. Then did I learn to say, of what account to me are marketplace and populace noise, and long populous ears? Ye higher men, learn this from me. On the marketplace no one believeth in higher men. But if ye will speak there, very well. The populace, however, blinketh. We are all equal. Ye higher men, so blinketh the populace. There are no higher men. We are all equal. Man is man. Before God, we are all equal. Before God. Now, however, this God hath died. Before the populace, however, we will not be equal. Ye higher men, away from the marketplace. Before God, now, however, this God hath died. Ye higher men, this God was your greatest danger. Only since he lay in the grave, have ye again risen. Now only cometh the great noontide. Now only doth the higher man become master. Have ye understood this word, my brethren? Ye are frightened. Do your hearts turn giddy? Doth the abyss here yawn for you? Doth the hellhound here yelp at you? Well, take heart, ye higher men. Now only travelleth the mountain of the human future. God hath died. Now do we desire the Superman to live. The most careful ask today, how is man to be maintained? Zarathustra, however, asketh, as the first and only one, how is man to be surpassed? The Superman I have at heart, that is the first and only thing to me, and not man. Not the neighbor, not the poorest, not the sorriest, not the best. My brethren, what I can love in man is that he is an overgoing and a downgoing, and also in you there is much that maketh me love and hope. And that ye have despised, ye higher men, that maketh me hope. For the great despisers are the great reverers. In that ye have despaired, there is much to honor. For ye have not learned to submit yourselves, but ye have not learned petty policy. For today have the petty people become master. They all preach submission and humility and policy and diligence and consideration at the long etc. of petty virtues. Whatever is of the effeminate type, whatever originateth from the servile type, and especially the populous mishmash, that wisheth now to be master of all human destiny. Disgust, disgust, disgust. That asketh, and never tireth, how is man himself best, longest, most pleasantly? Thereby are they the masters of today. These masters of today surpass them. My brethren, these petty people, they are the Superman's greatest danger. Surpass, ye higher men, the petty virtues, the petty policy, the sand-grained considerateness, the anthill trumpery, the pitiable comfortableness, the happiness of the greatest number, and rather despair. Then submit yourselves, and verily I love you, because ye know not today how to live, ye higher men, for thus do ye live best. Have ye courage, my brethren, are ye stout-hearted, not the courage before witnesses, but anchorite and eagle courage, which not even a god any longer beholdeth. Cold souls, mules, the blind and the drunken, do not call stout-hearted. He hath heart, who knoweth fear, but vanquisheth it, who seeth the abyss, but with pride. He who seeth the abyss, but with eagle's eyes, he who with eagle's talons graspeth the abyss. He hath courage. Man is evil, so said to me for consolation, all the wisest ones. If only it be still true today, for the evil is man's best force. Man must become better, eviler, so do I teach. The evilest is necessary for the Superman's best. It may have been well for the preacher of the petty people to suffer and be burdened by man's sin. I, however, rejoice in great sin as my great consolation. Such things, however, are not said for long ears. Every word, also, is not suited for every mouth. These are fine, far-away things. At them sheep's claws shall not grasp. Ye higher men, think ye that I am here to put right what ye have put wrong, or that I wished henceforth to make snugger couches for you sufferers, or show you restless, mist-wandering, mist-climbing ones new and easier footpaths? Nay, 3 times nay, always more, always better ones of your type shall succumb, for ye shall always have it worse and harder. Thus only groweth man aloft to the height where the lightning striketh and shattereth him. High enough for the lightning. Towards the few, the long, the remote go forth my soul and my seeking. Of what account to me are your many little short miseries? Ye do not yet suffer enough for me, for ye suffer from yourselves. Ye have not yet suffered from man. Ye would lie if ye spake otherwise. None of you suffereth from what I have suffered. It is not enough for me that the lightning no longer doeth harm. I do not wish to conduct it away. It shall learn to work for me. My wisdom hath accumulated long, like a cloud. It becometh stiller, darker. So doth all wisdom, which shall one day bear lightnings. To these men of today will I not be light, nor be called light. Them will I blind. Lightning of my wisdom, put out their eyes. Do not will anything beyond your power. There is a bad falseness in those who will beyond their power, especially when they will great things, for they awaken distrust in great things, these subtle false coiners and stage players, until at last they are false towards themselves, squint-eyed, whited cankers glossed over with strong words, parade virtues, and brilliant false deeds. Take good care there, ye higher men, for nothing is more precious to me and rarer than honesty. Is this today not that of the populace? The populace, however, knoweth not what is great and what is small, what is straight, what is honest. It is innocently crooked, it ever lieth. Have a good distrust today, ye higher men, ye enheartened ones, ye open-hearted ones, and keep your reasons secret. For this today is that of the populace. What the populace once learned to believe without reasons, who could refute it? To them by means of reasons. And on the marketplace one convinceth with gestures, but reasons make the populace distrustful. And when truth has once triumphed there, then ask yourselves with good distrust, what strong error hath fought for it? Be on your guard also against the learned. They hate you, because they are unproductive. They have cold, withered eyes before which every bird is unplumed. Such persons vaunt about not lying, but the inability to lie is still far from being love to truth. Be on your guard. Freedom from fever is still far from being knowledge. Refrigerated spirits I do not believe in. He who cannot lie doth not know what truth is. If ye would go up high, then use your own legs. Do not get yourselves carried aloft. Do not seat yourselves on other people's backs and heads. Thou hast mounted, however, on horseback. Thou now ridest briskly up to thy goal. My friend, but thy lame foot is also with thee on horseback. When thou reachest thy goal, when thou alightest from thy horse, precisely on thy height, thou higher man, then wilt thou stumble. Ye creating ones, ye higher men, one is only pregnant with one's own child. Do not let yourselves be imposed upon or put upon. Who then is your neighbor? Even if ye act for your neighbor, ye still do not create for him. And learn, I pray you, this for ye creating ones, for very virtue, your very virtue, wisheth you, ye, wisheth you, your very virtue wisheth you to have naught to do with for, and on account of, and because, against these false little words shall ye stop your ears. For one's neighbor is the virtue only of the petty people. There is said, like in like, and hand washeth hand. They have neither the right nor the power for your self-seeking. In your self-seeking, ye creating ones, there is the foresight and foreseeing of the pregnant. What no one's eye hath yet seen, namely the fruit, this sheltereth and saveth and nourisheth your entire love. Where your entire love is, namely with your child, there is also your entire virtue, your work. Your will is your neighbor. Let no false values impose upon you. Interesting chapter for the creating ones. I think in some ways it's not just speaking of the Superman, but imagine you as well being a game developer or a book writer or whatever creative ventures you may have. You're a creating one. And when you let your neighbor impose upon you their thoughts, their ideas, they're the idea maker. You're just the creator at that point. You're creating for them, theirs. But what he's saying is that what you should be pregnant with is your will. What do you desire? What do you wish to see in that thing that you are creating? Don't just create for the people around you, the popular group of people. As he was saying, don't cater to the majority. I guess that's a good word for it. Because the majority, what do the majority know of these higher things? I like to have made a, how could I put this? I gave a talk just on stream about some thoughts that I had shared. Well, it was some thoughts I had, but I was sharing them on stream. It was about a video game, and I call video games to the developer, they're like medicine. They're medicine you give to the player, the person who's playing the game. So the player, they could complain, just like a patient will complain about certain medicine. Doctor, this tastes bad. Doctor, I don't like the way it makes me feel. Take the medicine. This is what you need. Sometimes after you've played a game that makes you uncomfortable and unsettles you, sometimes that's where the real medicine is. Those are those games that we want more of. Longing. You know, we want more like this. This was an amazing medicine for many people in battling their own self-depression and overcoming that. So a game is like a medicine, but if you're just catering to the majority, you're going to be catering to needs and wants. Make this couch comfier, make my horse faster. You know, just you're catering to the lesser needs, not the higher needs that they really need. So to read this from this person, Nietzsche, who wrote Thus Spake Zarathustra, and seeing how it parallels somewhat with my own thoughts, my own conclusions that I've come to. In some ways, when I talk about speedrunning, it's the same. When Zarathustra says, don't walk another person's path, find your own path. I say the same thing when it comes to speedrunning. Play the game, enjoy the game, and it's because you enjoy the game and you want more out of the game. That's why we pick up speedrunning. I'm not going to go and look at the world record holder for the longing. I'm going to look to see that he has a time, and I'm going to look at that as like a mountaintop. I'm going to find my own way, find my own path, and I'm going to strive for that mountaintop on my own. And if I go further and past that person, okay, that's great. If I don't make it as far, that's fine as well. But I made my own path out of it. And then if I reach out and talk to this person, we both have things to share. Because they developed a route, I've developed mine. We can then share how we went about and discovered and developed our routes. Maybe there are things I did different. Maybe there are things they did different. But in that, now we have a conversation and we can collaborate and combine our efforts, perhaps reach even higher than that. And that's, I think, what video games should be doing. Here, Nietzsche, I had a difficult time beginning to read Zarathustra because the words are very dense. And I said that on stream one time. I said, I hate why these words are so dense. Why do they do that if they're trying to teach people? And literally, after having said that, reading the chapter that day, I learned that it's done purposely, because if everybody can read and write, then there's going to be so many more books filled with things that don't elevate our thoughts. Look at the games industry. It's so full of too many games that don't challenge us. They don't challenge the player. They don't do anything for us other than tell us a story we've perhaps heard in another way before. They're not introducing something that's worth struggling for. A lot of games, we put in the hours and struggle for it because it gives us something. We get something out of that experience. And if something overcomes us, we strive harder to accomplish it, not just because it's a daily quest. It's something you should be doing to fill your time. You're not filling your time, you're filling other people's times by doing that. You're just filling in for the developer, saying, hey, I have these many current users. You're filling in for them, not for yourself. So, right, I've kind of sidetracked here, but my point was, when I wondered, why is this language so dense? I got an answer for that, and it's dense for a reason, because they don't want everybody to be able to write, to have this knowledge, to reach that point. Shoot. I had a reason. I was building up for something. And that point, because I've derailed, the point is no longer clear. Right, I was talking about medicine, and I didn't get into the full speech about medicine, but I guess it's this. It's more of this thing that you want to create. Back to Zarathustra's point. Create it not for or because you think you're going to draw more people in. Build it for that lesser man, those who are striving to become better. And if you don't have knowledge that's going to that you, no, that's derailing myself again. This thing that drives you to want to make games, that's your will, right? Build that. Who is that person for? Who cares? Build it because that's what you want. That's the thing you are pregnant with. And who knows? It might be the right medicine for someone else. I think that's the best way to put it. Right, let's not travel too far. Let's continue from here. Ye creating ones, ye higher men, whoever hath to give birth is sick. Whoever hath given birth, however, is unclean. Ask women. One giveth birth, not because it giveth pleasure. The pain maketh hens and poets cackle. Ye creating ones, in you there is much uncleanliness. That is because ye have had to be mothers. A new child. How much new filth has also come into the world? Go apart. He who hath given birth shall wash his soul. Be not virtuous beyond your powers, and seek nothing from yourselves, opposed to probability. Walk in the footsteps in which your fathers' virtue hath already walked. How would ye rise high, if your fathers' will should not rise with you? He, however, would be a firstling. Let him take care, lest he also become a lastling. And where the vices of your fathers are, there should ye not set up as saints. He, whose fathers were inclined for women, and for strong wine and flesh of wild boar swine, what would it be if he demanded chastity of himself? Folly would that be? Much, verily, doth it seem to me, for such a one, if he should be the husband of one, or of two, or of three women, if he founded monasteries and inscribed over their portals the way to holiness, I should still say, what good is it? It is a new folly. He hath founded for himself a penance house and refuge house. Much good may it do, but I do not believe in it. In solitude there groweth what anyone bringeth into it. Also, the brute in one's nature. Thus is solitude inadvisable unto many. Hath there ever been anything filthier on earth than the saints of the wilderness? Around them was not only the devil loose, but also the swine, shy, ashamed, awkward, like the tiger, whose spring hath failed. Thus, ye higher men, have I often seen you slink aside. A cast which ye made had failed. But what doth it matter, ye dice players? Ye had not learned to play and mock, and one must play and mock. Do we not ever sit at a great table of mocking and playing? And if great things have been a failure with you, have ye yourselves therefore been a failure? And if ye yourselves have been a failure, hath man therefore been a failure? If man, however, hath been a failure, well, then never mind. The higher, its type, always a seldomer doth a thing succeed. Ye higher men of here, have ye not all been failures? Be of good cheer. What doth it matter? How much is still possible? Learn to laugh at yourselves as ye ought to laugh. What wonder even that ye have failed, and only half succeeded? Ye half-shattered ones, doth not man's future strive and struggle in you? Man's furthest, profoundest, star highest issues, his prodigious powers, do not all these foam through one another in your vessel? What wonder that many a vessel shattereth? Learn to laugh at yourselves, as ye ought to laugh. Ye higher men, how much is still possible? Verily, how much hath already succeeded? How rich is the earth in small, good, perfect things, in well-constituted things. Sit around, you small, good, perfect things, ye higher men. Their golden maturity healeth the heart. The perfect teacheth one to hope. What hath hitherto been the greatest sin here on earth? Was it not the word of him who said, Woe unto them that laugh now? Did he himself find no cause for laughter on the earth? Then he sought badly. A child even findeth cause for it. He did not love sufficiently, otherwise would he also have loved us, the laughing ones. But he hated and hooted us, wailing and teeth gnashing did he promise us. Must one then curse immediately, when one doth not love? That seemeth to me bad taste. Thus did he, however, this absolute one, he sprang from the populace, and he himself just did not love sufficiently. Otherwise would he have raged less, because people did not love him. All great love doth not seek love, it seeketh more. Go out of the way of all such absolute ones. They are a poor, sickly type, a populous type. They look at this life with ill will. They have an evil eye for this earth. Go out of the way of all such absolute ones. They have heavy feet and sultry hearts. They do not know how to dance. How could the earth be light to such ones? Tortuously do all good things come nigh to their goal, like cats. They curve their backs. They purr inwardly with their approaching happiness. All good things laugh. His step betrayeth whether a person already walketh on his own path. Just see me walk. He, however, who cometh nigh to his goal, danceth. And verily, a statue have I not become. Not yet do I stand there, stiff, stupid, and stony like a pillar. I love fast racing. And through there, though there be on earth fens and dense afflictions, he who hath light feet runneth even across the mud, danceth, as upon well-swept ice. Lift up your hearts, my brethren, high, higher. Do not forget your legs. Lift up also your legs, ye good dancers. Better still, if ye stand upon your heads. Quick break. I guess standing upon your heads, that'll be a silly thing, right? Silly thing to do. Is that what he's going for? Stand upon your heads, be silly, because that has to do with the laughter? Not sure. This crown of the laughter, this rose garland crown, I myself have put on this crown. I myself have consecrated my laughter. No one else have I found today potent enough for this. Zarathustra, the dancer, Zarathustra, the light one, who beckoneth with his pinions, one ready for flight, beckoning unto all birds ready and prepared, a blissfully light-spirited one. Zarathustra the soothsayer, Zarathustra the sooth laughter. No impatient one, no absolute one, one who loveth leaps and side leaps. I myself have put on this crown. Lift up your hearts, my brethren, high, higher. Do not forget your legs. Lift up also your legs, ye good dancers, and better still, ye stand upon your heads. There are also heavy animals in a state of happiness. There are club-footed ones from the beginning. Curiously, do they exert themselves, like an elephant, which endeavoureth to stand upon its head. Better, however, to be foolish with happiness than foolish with misfortune. Better to dance awkwardly than walk lamely. So learn, I pray you, my wisdom, ye higher men. Even the worst thing hath two good reverse sides. Even the worst thing hath good dancing legs. So learn, I pray you, ye higher men, to put yourselves on your proper legs. So unlearn, I pray you, the sorrow sighing and all the populace sadness. Oh, how sad the buffoons of the populace seem to me today. This today, however, is that of the populace. Do like unto the wind when it rusheth forth from its mountain caves. Unto its own piping will it dance. The seas tremble and leap under its footsteps. That which giveth wings to asses, that which milketh the lioness. Praised be that good, unruly spirit, which cometh like a hurricane unto all the present, and to all the populace, which is hostile to thistle-heads and puzzle-heads, and to all withered leaves and weeds. Praised be this wild, good, free spirit of the storm, which danceth upon fens and afflictions as upon meadows, which hateth the consumptive populous dogs, and all the ill-constituted sullen brood. Praised be this spirit of all free spirits, the laughing storm, which bloweth dust into the eyes of all the melanopic and melancholic. Ye higher men, the worst thing in you is that ye have none of you learned to dance as ye ought to dance. Ye have none of you learned. What is that? Ye have none of you learned to dance as ye ought to dance. All right, it sounds weird, but there it is. To dance beyond yourselves, what doth it matter that ye have failed? How many things are still possible? So learn to laugh beyond yourselves. Lift up your hearts, ye good dancers, high, higher. Do not forget the good laughter. This crown of the laughter, this rose garland crowned, to you, my brethren, do I cast this crown. Laughing have I consecrated, ye higher men, learn, I pray you to laugh. Interesting note to end that chapter on. As it is with creators, we will fail. But there's nothing wrong in that failing. If you were to say, well, you failed because you're no good at it, and that's just wrong. And if that were the case, then as Zarathustra was saying, couldn't we just go backwards and continue on to say that man itself has failed? Because if we say that, then where is the point of trying to achieve a Superman if man has failed? Why do they exist? Why continue to be a person yourself? Why continue to be a man or a woman? It's just mankind. I hope you don't get caught up on those words. But right. So with failure, learn then to laugh. Like, take it in stride. Learn to take the failures and roll with it. Dance with it. Stand on your heads with it. And it's just, okay, so what? It's just a failure. Learn from the failure and do better. I mean, you still have chances to try again, right? Right? If not for yourself, then someone else. Have them try. To continue to trying, though, until it is succeeding, until it is successful. That's how they become this higher man. But the great knowledge there is that to learn to dance and to laugh with those failures. Chapter 74, The Song of Melancholy. When Zarathustra spake these sayings, he stood nigh to the entrance of his cave. With the last words, however, he slipped away from his guests, and fled for a little while into the open air. "O pure odors around me," cried he, "O blessed stillness around me! But where are mine animals? Hither, hither, mine eagle and my serpent. Tell me, mine animals, these higher men, all of them, do they perhaps not smell well? O pure odors around me, now only do I know and feel how I love you, mine animals." And Zarathustra said once more, "I love you, mine animals." The eagle, however, and the serpent pressed close to him, and when he spake these words, and looked up to him in this attitude, were they all three silent together, and sniffed and sipped the good air with one another. The air here outside was better than with the higher men. Hardly, however, had Zarathustra left the cave, when the old magician got up, looked cunningly about him, and said, "He is gone, and already, ye higher men. Let me tickle you with this complimentary and flattering name, as he himself doeth. Already doth mine evil spirit of deceit and magic attack me, my melancholy devil, which is an adversary to this Zarathustra, from the very heart. Forgive it for this. Now doth it wish to conjure before you. It hath just its hour. In vain do I struggle with this evil spirit. And to all of you, whatever honors ye like to assume in your names, whether ye call yourselves the free spirits, or the conscientious, or the penitents of the spirit, or the unfettered, or the great longers, to all of you, who like me suffer from the great loathing, to whom the old God hath died, and as yet no new God lieth in cradles and swaddling clothes, unto all of you is mine evil spirit and magic devil favorable. I know you, ye higher men. I know him. I know also this fiend whom I love in spite of me, this Zarathustra. He himself also often seemeth to me like the beautiful mask of a saint, like a new strange memory in which mine evil spirit, the melancholy devil, delighteth. I love Zarathustra, so doth it often seem to me, for the sake of mine evil spirit. But already doth it attack me and constrain me, this spirit of melancholy, this evening twilight devil, and verily, ye higher men, it hath a longing. Open your eyes. It hath a longing to come naked, whether male or female. I do not yet know, but it cometh. It constraineth me, alas. Open your wits. The day dieth out. Unto all things cometh now the evening. Also unto the best things. Hear now and see, ye higher men, what devil, man or woman, this spirit of evening melancholy is. Thus spake the old magician, looked cunningly about him, and then seized his harp. In evening's limpid air, what time the dew soothings unto the earth downpour, invisibly and unheard. For tender shoe gear wear, the soothing dews, like all that's kind gentle. Bethinkest thou, then, bethinkest thou, burning heart, how once thou thirstedst how once thou thirstedest for heaven's kindly teardrops, and dew's down droppings. All seemed and weary thirstedness, what time on yellow grass pathways wicked, occidental sunny glances through somber trees about thee sported, blindingly sunny glow glances gladly hurting. Of truth, the wooer, thou, so taunted they, nay, merely poet, a brute insidious, plundering, groveling, that I must lie, that unwittingly, wilfully I must lie, for booty lusting, motley masked, self-hidden shrouded himself, his booty, he, of truth, the wooer, nay, mere fool, mere poet, just motley speaking, from mask of fool confusedly shouting, circumambling on fabricated word bridges, on motley rainbow arches, twixt the spurious heavenly and spurious earthly, round us roving, round us soaring, mere fool, mere poet. He, of truth the wooer, not still stiff, smooth and cold, become an image, a godlike statue, set up in front of temples, as a god's own door guard, nay, hostile to all such truthfulness statues in every desert homelier than at temples, with caddish wantonness through every window, leaping quickly into chances, every wild forest sniffing, greedily, longingly sniffing, that thou, in wild forests, among the motley speckled fierce creatures, shouldest rove, sinful sound and fine-colored, with longing lips smacking, blessedly mocking, blessedly hellish, blessedly bloodthirsty, robbing, skulking, lying, roving. Or unto eagles, like which fixedly long adown their precipice look, adown their precipice. Oh, how they whirl down now there under therein, to ever deeper profoundness whirling, then, sudden, with aim aright, with quivering flight, on lambkins pouncing, headlong down, sore hungry for lambkins longing, fierce 'gainst a lamb spirits, fierce, all that look sheep-like, or lamb-eyed, or crisp-woolly, grey, with lamb-sheep kindliness. Even thus, eagle-like, panther-like, are the poet's desires, are thine own desires, beneath 1,000 guises, thou fool, thou poet, thou who all mankind viewest, so God, as sheep, the God to rend within mankind, as the sheep in mankind, and in rending, laughing, that is thine own blessedness of a panther and eagle, blessedness of a poet and fool, the blessedness in evening's limpid air, what time the moon sickle, green, twixt the purple glowings, and jealous stealeth forth. Of day the foe with every step in secret, the rosen garland hammocks, down sickling, till they've sunken down nightwards, faded, down sunken. Thus had I sunken one day from mine own truth insanity, from mine own fervid day longings, of day aweary, sick of sunshine, sunk downwards, eveningwards, evenwards, shadowwards, by one sole trueness, all scorched and thirsty. Bethinkest thou still, bethinkest thou, burning heart, how then thou thirstedest, that I should be banned from all the trueness, mere fool, mere poet. I guess he did take to the harp. That was a very strange song. I do like the part where he says a line about making up words. Fabricated word bridges. Yep. Very fabricated. Don't ask me to read that one ever again. But that was rough. Chapter 75. Science. I wonder, is that why the Romans wrote their numbers this way? Because it takes thought to read them. And not like normal reading where it's just spelled out for you. That's... Perhaps in their culture they wanted that higher man. Thus sang the magician. Oh, right. Chapter 75, Science. Thus sang the magician, and all who were present went like birds unawares into the net of his artful and melancholy voluptuousness. Only the spiritually conscientious one had not been caught. He at once snatched the harp from the magician and called out, "Air! Let in good air! Let in, Zarathustra! Thou makest this cave sultry and poisonous. Thou bad old magician! Thou seducest, thou false one, thou subtle one, to unknown desires and deserts. And alas, that such as thou should talk and make ado about the truth. Alas, to all free spirits who are not on their guard against such magicians, it is all over with their freedom. Thou teachest and temptest back to prisons. Thou old melancholy devil, out of thy lament soundeth allurement. Thou resemblest those who, with their praise of chastity, secretly invite to voluptuousness." Thus spake the conscientious one. The old magician, however, looked about him, enjoying his triumph, and on that account put up with the annoyance which the conscientious one caused him. "Be still," said he with modest voice. "Good songs want to re-echo well. After good songs one should be long silent. Thus do all those present. The higher men. Thou, however, hast perhaps understood but little of my song. In thee there is a little of the magic spirit." "Thou praisest me," replied the conscientious one, "in that thou separatest me from thyself." "Very well. But ye others, what do I see? Ye still sit there, all of you, with lusting eyes. Ye free spirits, whither hath your freedom gone? Ye almost seem to me to resemble those who have long looked at bad girls dancing naked. Your souls themselves dance. In you, ye higher men, there must be more of that which the magician calleth his evil spirit of magic and deceit. We must, indeed, be different. And verily, we spake and thought long enough together ere Zarathustra came home to his cave. For me not to be unaware that we are different. We seek different things even here aloft, ye and I, for I seek more security. On that account, if I come to Zarathustra, he is still the most steadfast tower and will. Today, when everything tottereth, when all the earth quaketh, ye, however, when I see what eyes ye make, it almost seemeth to me that ye seek more insecurity, more horror, more danger, more earthquake. Ye long, it almost seemeth so to me, forgive my presumption, ye higher men, ye long for the worst and dangerousest life, which frighteneth me most. For the life of wild beasts, for forests, caves, steep mountains, and labyrinthine gorges. And it is not those who lead out of danger that please you best, but those who lead you away from all paths, you the misleaders. But if such longing in you be actual, it seemeth to me, nevertheless, to be impossible. For fear, that is man's original and fundamental feeling. Through fear, everything is explained. Original sin and original virtue. Through fear, there grew also my virtue, that is to say, science. For fear of wild animals, that hath been longest fostered in man, inclusive of the animal, which he concealeth and feareth in himself. Zarathustra calleth it the beast inside. Such prolonged ancient fear at last becomes subtle, spiritual, and intellectual. At present methinketh is called science. Thus spake the conscientious one, but Zarathustra, who had just come back into his cave, and had heard and divined the last discourse, threw a handful of roses to a conscientious one, and laughed on account of his truths. "Why," he exclaimed, "what did I hear just now? Verily it seemeth to me thou art a fool, or else I myself am one, and quietly and quickly I put thy truth upside down. For fear is an exception with us. Courage, however, and adventure, and delight in the uncertain, in the unattempted. Courage seemeth to me the entire primitive history of man. The wildest, the most courageous animals hath he envied and robbed of all their virtues. Thus only did he become man. This courage at last becomes subtle, spiritual, and intellectual. This human courage, with eagle's pinions and serpent's wisdom, this, it seemeth to me, is called at present Zarathustra, cried all of them there assembled, as if with one voice, and burst out at the same time into a great laughter. There arose, however, from them, as if it were a heavy cloud. Even the magician laughed, and said wisely, "Well, it is gone, mine evil spirit. And did I not myself warn you against it when I said that it was a deceiver, a lying and deceiving spirit, especially when it showeth itself naked? But what can I do with regard to its tricks? Have I created it and the world? Well, let us be good again, and of good cheer. And although Zarathustra looketh with evil eye, just see him, he disliketh me. Ere night cometh, when he again learn to love and laud me. He cannot live long without committing such follies. He loveth his enemies. This art knoweth he better than any one. I have seen, but he taketh revenge for it on his friends." Thus spake the old magician, and the higher man applauded him, so that Zarathustra went round and mischievously and lovingly shook hands with his friends, like one who hath to make amends and apologize to everyone for something. When, however, he had thereby come to the door of his cave, lo, then had he again a longing for the good air outside, and for his animals wished to steal out. There's a lot of strange intricacies that are going on here. But the magician, he said this is a ploy, and lots of them fell for it, except for the one. And the one and the magician kind of had a little bit of back and forth about what things mean. And this conscientious one, he was saying fear. Why are you chasing after fear? Fear for things that are practically impossible. Why are you getting yourself lost in mazes? For what purpose? Like, are you chasing it just for the sake of the chase? Like an adrenaline junkie? And that's when Zarathustra returned, saying, well, fear is something that mankind has overcome many things. That's why we're called man, because we've overcome animals, we've overcome darkness. It's not true of every individual, like the game The Longing. It's helped many people deal with such things and overcome them for themselves as an individual. But as a species, sure, somebody's already done it before, and therefore mankind has done it. Or it's something we know now is attainable. It's like somebody jumping off of a diving board 100 meters high. People saying, no, it's impossible. It can never be done. No one can ever do such a thing. I don't remember I did read it once before, the highest dive. 100 meters? It's quite a bit. I believe it's higher than that. But the first person to have done it, once it has been done, we now know it's possible. Skateboarding, for example, when, oh my gosh, why can't I think of his name right now? The guy who's like the legend with skateboarding, Tony Hawk. Okay, thank you. Thank you, past me, who remembered that. Okay, Tony Hawk, when he first completed 3 spins on his skateboard on a ramp. What is it, the 960, I think it was called? Nobody had ever done that before. He was the very first one. People are surpassing that. Now they're surpassing it, but everybody before him had feared that. They were like, you're crazy for doing this. And he did. He got severely injured a couple of times attempting that trick. But he felt it one day, he went for it, and he nailed it. He pulled it off. There's videos on YouTube, you can see it. The whole crowd, the energy around him, when that happened, it's a really epic moment. But since then, we don't have to say, well, we can begin to dream beyond that because somebody has done it. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean each person who's on a skateboard has completed a 960. It's just that mankind has. And so it's no longer a fear. We know it's in the realm of possibility. So can we then push further to something else, something the next step? And there are some youngsters who have done some amazing things and have gone beyond a 960. Cool. You know, we're striving beyond it. And that's kind of what Zarathustra was saying, that it's that fear itself that pushes us onwards. That is one thing. Zarathustra said near the beginning that to not stand on another person's shoulders. I think a distinction needs to be said there because I think it's just natural. We do stand upon the successes of those who came before us. But what he means by that, by standing on someone else's shoulders, is perhaps you've inherited a position. You didn't earn that position, you've inherited it. That's more what he means by standing on their shoulders. You're just standing in that position because it was given to you. But being in that position, you're not going to be as strong as someone who had done the work to reach such a place. You might have some talents, that's not to discredit that. You might have some experiences that would help you, but to be given that position, it's a very different thing. And that's more of what he meant by standing on shoulders, and not the others, where we're standing on the shoulders of those, their knowledge. But then again, you could question, well, what about when I'm speedrunning? I don't stand on anyone else's shoulders. I go about it in my own way. That's true. I do like to find my own way. And that's because once I reach that point with knowledge, I'm standing amongst equals, others who have gathered that knowledge. And when I join that community to then speak with them, we both have something interesting to offer. And the conversation there is richer, rather than, oh, hey, I've seen your speedrun. I do all the same tricks you do. Oh, okay, so what do you have to say beyond that? You know, thanks, hi, salute you, cheers, good luck. There isn't really any conversation there, you know what I mean? Unless perhaps you discovered a new trick. Hey, I learned the tricks from you and I've surpassed you. Oh, tell me more. You know, there's something interesting to say there. But, something also to be said for standing upon the other person's shoulders and taking their tricks from them. Just performing it better, perhaps. It's a different conversation. But that's kind of what I wanted to share earlier. Having had my own thoughts about philosophy, and then finally sitting down I'm actually standing, I have a standing desk, but sitting, you know what I mean, figure of speech, right? Reading these things that Nietzsche has written. I don't know how long ago he wrote these things. And hearing that conversation, it's like I've had similar thoughts. I've come to such similar peaks in my own way of thinking. I do like that phrase that Zarathustra says about thunder. So what that it hurts, I will strive on regardless. I want to be at the highest peaks where I am being challenged, I am being threatened. And if it hurts, I will overcome even that. Just that will to carry on and surpass. And that will, that's the thing to strive for. It's our will that overcomes those fears and those things and makes something beyond. I wish you did spend more time talking about that whole pregnant thing. I liked the analogy. I thought it was interesting being into creating things myself. And I could see that when somebody has finished a creation, in some ways they are different. They are unclean, as Zarathustra puts it. I wish he would elaborate further. I wanted to hear more about that. But I get it. When you release, say, a product, you're reading ratings, you're reading comments. You want to see what people have to say about it day one. You're watching Twitch streamers, you're watching influencers, you're commenting, you're amongst everybody else, hearing what people have to say. And the person you are to yourself is very different compared to when you're creating the project or anything before that. In some ways, it's like you're drunk. You're not thinking the way you normally think. You're not being who you normally are. I could see that, but is it a bad thing? I don't know. Yeah, I wish he would have elaborated further. In any case, we've gone an hour. We've gone a good distance, and it looks like maybe 1 or 2 more sessions will be finished. But for this session, I think we're done.